We live. What screen? It probably just turned off. Yeah. All right. Whenever y'all ready to talk, we can talk.
All right, let's get it.
All right, let's go and get this intro going.
Radio check.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
You're now tuned in.
Let's go
to CONVO-19.
Turn it up
with Keith Austin and Gorgy sipping 40.
What up? What up? What up? This is Keith Austin with CONVO-19, and today's actually a little different. Most of the time, I got my Gorgy right here next to me to introduce the guest, but today I'm actually interviewing Gorgy and HDR of the 423 Boyz. How's it going, guys?
What's up?
Man, same old, man.
I'm back to being a guest.
Bro, Ronnie has not been a guest on this show since April or something like that.
Yeah, it's been a fucking fat minute.
Yeah, y'all been taking off with this.
Yeah, man, people have been loving it.
We've honestly been. I thought it would be something we picked up on, kind of fucked around with, and then it like fizzled out. But we've kept it going.
Man, that's a good thing. Well, I kind of understand where you're coming from because I've done this podcast thing for a minute. Even back when I first started doing it in 2017, podcasting was still very new, so I didn't know what the avenues were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it fizzled out. I brought it back because of COVID, and I've been going strong ever since. And when Ronnie got involved,
COVID don't really seem like it's finna let up anytime soon. So y'all stay tuned for real.
Oh yeah, man, definitely. Even even HDR has been part of the episodes. Honestly,
yeah,
super. Like, I don't want to say unreliable, but like things just happen, and Daniel's just kind of been in the room.
Yeah, I'm always there. You know what I'm saying? I'm always in the background.
He's basically like an extra guest that no one talks about.
We finna talk today though.
All right, man. But for real though, so today, if you're from Dunlap, these guys.
Yeah.
423 Boyz.
Dunlap? What's up, everybody? Check it out, man. Let's see.
Everybody knows you.
3 viewers right now.
We give it time. Like I said, we can talk for a little bit and then give it time, and more viewers will show up.
Yeah, get them views.
So that way,
y'all at?
I also did hear that there is some sort of announcement, but we can wait for the viewers to go up before we actually drop the announcement.
Yeah, let's wait. Let's get them viewers up.
But man, it's been a minute. I've known of these two guys for a very long time. If you're from Dunlap, everybody knows who everybody is.
For the good or the bad.
For the good or the bad. Man, people just love to be in everybody's business. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
But especially I know in past episodes with like Nashville and The Instigator, and I think we touched on it with Jelly Roll too. When you rap in such a small town, you just get tossed and turned around while the name of yourself kind of gets thrown in the mud.
No matter what happens, this is what me and Daniel will go down as. Like, we come from a small town where everybody knows everybody. Like, if you do something that people don't agree with, you're just fucking...
Just the outcast.
You're just... No, you're the joke of the town. So, all the way from as far back as I can remember, me and Daniel, we were never the same as anybody. Like, we always did something that people just didn't like or didn't understand. And
even before the rap.
Yeah, even before rapping, but we never conformed with where we were from and how people did things regularly. So, like, I don't know. That's how we'll go down. People will always remember us as that. But it's funny because even though people laughed and we were the joke then, it's like now they hit us up and now they're like, "Oh, y'all."
Oh yeah, we could go on.
Y'all weren't crazy
about that,
bro. It's also another crazy thing about it because you guys weren't the only rappers in the area.
Yeah,
but you guys were also known as the butt of everyone's joke.
We were not, in a sense, we were the biggest. Because we were the biggest joke.
Yeah. I mean,
like
it was
there were people that did it before us, but I feel like they got taken serious.
Yeah.
But I guess just because it was me and you and we were doing our own thing, we weren't even doing it like those people were doing. That's what I'm saying.
Even we didn't conform to even the sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still say to this day, nobody locally sounds like us.
Well, also you guys got to look at it at a point of like with how young you guys started. Yeah. And no, that's another thing. Like, you guys are still super young. We're all still super young, but you guys have been part of the game for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Just because you guys started so young, you guys are going to studios, and you're still getting made fun of and being the butt of everyone's joke, even though y'all were the 423 Boyz representing your hometown.
I want to put this in perspective. What year were we in the fourth grade?
That's something you have to figure out.
Man, I'd
Was
say
it
like
2005?
05, 06.
Think about this. I
Maybe
did my
07.
first ever song in 2005. And we've stuck to this dream since 2005. That's 15 years.
Yeah.
We've been chasing this.
I mean, it's crazy because, like, so I'm looking right now, the biggest hip hop album in 2005. Because, you know, some people, when you throw years out there, they don't realize how long ago it was. The biggest hip hop album in 2005 was The Massacre, Late Registration, the documentary, and Curtain Calls the Hits by Eminem.
And The Massacre, we listened to that shit on repeat.
I mean, it's safe to say, you know, that was one of the
like
early
this is how fucking influenced we were by that album. He had a fucking like you put a CD in, and then you could also put a tape in, like a little cassette, and you could record it. He bought the Massacre CD and put that shit on a cassette tape, and he gave me the cassette tape.
Yeah, just to bump it in the car and shit. Cause like this is before every car had a CD player type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we didn't
that's
have
how far back.
We didn't have MP3 players and shit, so he would
CDs
fucking
tapes.
He would basically burn a CD to a cassette tape, and I would get it from him, and I'd just listen to the cassette tape.
Before we go any further, we need to let everybody know that we are live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube. If you see it, share it.
Share it.
And also, you know, Convo-19, Keith Austin. Normally I have Gorgy 740 with me. I got HDR. This is the 423 Boyz interview. Yeah, I'm just kind of wanting to get that out there for people who might be coming into now.
The first interview since I've been out, by the way.
Was this like considered like your first like real interview?
I'd say so. Yeah, actually.
This is probably our first real interview ever.
Together, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we can get.
So let's get them views up, man. Let's get it popping because we finna get into some shit.
Yeah, man. Before we go like too much further, we'll go ahead and just get the basics out of the way. You guys know each other for a minute. How long have y'all known each other? How'd you meet?
We met in the 3rd grade.
What was that? Like about like we said, 04, 05.
Yeah, anywhere from 03 to 05 is when we met.
Yeah,
so
3rd grade definitely though, and let's go ahead and get this out there. You know what I'm saying? My boy here wasn't even bumping rap music at the time. Like hating on it, you know what I'm saying? Was like, nah, I don't even want to give it a chance. And here I am, 3rd grade, you know, rolling up like this white boy, and here he is bumping Elvis and shit. And I'm like, let me put you on to this.
That's real shit. Before I ever got into rap, I wanted to be an Elvis impersonator. You know what I'm saying? That was so I always had music ambition. I just never considered myself making music.
So what was it that actually made you want to say, fuck, I'm doing this?
The first ever rap song I heard was with him. I think we went to Chattanooga one weekend, and he had bought the Disturbing the Peace album by Ludacris.
Yeah.
But even before that, the first ever rap song I heard, I was with him, and it was that 2 miles an hour so everybody sees me. And then I heard that, and I was like, damn, I kind of like this music. And then that's when he would start doing the cassette tape shit for me and let me get the cassette tapes. And then I remember when I really wanted to record my first song ever, it was when I heard that Like Father, Like Son off that album with Birdman and Lil Wayne. It was that Stuntin' Like My Daddy.
Oh, of course. That great song, by the way.
And I was like, God damn,
great era, by the way.
This shit is so dope. I feel like I could do it. So my first ever song, I didn't know how to write lyrics or anything like that. So Daniel actually wrote the song for me. And then I went to my mom's that weekend, and we didn't have all this fancy recording shit back then. I didn't even have a microphone. So I had a little MP3 player that I could record my voice on. And I had the lyrics he wrote me, and I took it to my mom's. I recorded my lyrics on my MP3 player. I had the beat in Audacity, and I would
Audacity.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I would take the beat, put it in Audacity, record my vocals on the MP3 player, then plug my USB from the MP3 player into the computer, drag the file onto Audacity, and just blend the fucking
that shit up.
Listen, I would blend the vocals and the beat until it just looked right, and then hopefully it sounded good. So that was how we recorded how I recorded my first ever song.
What about for you, man?
Well, like he said, around that time, I had wrote the lyrics, and he had sent it back to me, and I was like, this is dope, don't get me wrong, but this is not how I had wrote it. So he's like, bro, I'm working on this mixtape, you got to get on it. And man, like it just happened. Like we was just bullshitting around. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was trash, you know what I'm saying? Here we are, 10, 11 years old, thinking we can rap and shit. And pulled up, you know what I'm saying? We was still getting beats with hooks at the time type shit.
Well, that was just that, the era that we were in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it was not uncommon and like samples and stuff. Like we was really getting
I mean, you didn't have access to beats like that then.
Yeah, like producers weren't.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even think SoundCloud was a thing.
Dude,
no, SoundCloud.
Hold on. SoundClick wasn't a thing when we started.
Yeah.
You had to go to YouTube and look for instrumental. SoundClick wasn't even a thing when we were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulled up, you know what I'm saying, with the little studio set up. We was slowly progressing. And then, we dropped some, like I said, some whack ass shit. But then my granny actually heard it and was like, look, I see y'all trying to do y'all's thing. Let me hook y'all up with the studio. So we actually went down to Marietta and linked up with some dudes, recorded Day by Day, which is still out there, you know what I'm saying?
Well, how long ago? Well,
that was eighth grade, 2011.
Yeah, I was about to say, because that's a big gap that we were talking about.
Well, we didn't really start.
Before that, we had never.
The end of 7th grade, the end of 2010 is really when we first put our first YouTube stuff out there.
Okay.
The very beginning of 2011, I'm talking March, we went down, recorded Day by Day, and I think that's when Rodney really fell in love with the engineering aspect of it. And I could say the rest is history, but let's get into that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Before YouTube and shit, we uploaded on MySpace. That was the big thing.
Okay, yeah. I forgot about even the MySpace thing.
Well, I mean,
that's how far back
we did. I don't know. We never had ideas of albums and stuff. We were just like, let's record these songs.
Put some lyrics over a beat, and
I went from MP3 player recording vocals to a Skype microphone. To a headset,
the headset days,
to a little fucking junky ass microphone. We didn't even know what a pop filter was.
Yeah.
So eventually I got another microphone and I started putting a bandana over it. And I don't know, man. There's been so much shit we evolved from.
Like the XLR cables and stuff. Like you said, we just evolved a lot. Like I went from sound recorder on Windows to a program called Blaze Media Pro, to a program called Audacity, to a program called Cool Edit Pro, eventually got into New Window. And by the way, let's just go ahead and get that out there. 99.9% of our songs are engineered by Georgie, by the way. So, y'all want that 423 boy sound, like it's all Georgie, you know what I'm saying? Hours in the studio, mixing and mastering it and perfecting that craft. Like a lot of people don't realize that we engineer almost everything in our album.
A lot of people don't understand the work that's went into it. Like you don't just learn this shit overnight, and that's what kills me is everybody they're just like, oh, I'm gonna go buy this shit and I'm gonna do it. I'm like, dude, it ain't gonna sound right. You can do what you want, but it ain't gonna sound right.
Well, to be fair, back then at that time, you mentioned like Cool Edit Pro and then Blaze Media Pro. Back then, you were very limited on what you could do. Or today, if people was gonna go buy things now, it would be different because now you can technically buy templates, you can buy all sorts of stuff where you can sound like these other people.
Yeah, that shit's whack.
And I'm saying so technically it's a little easier now to start than it was for you guys when you started. Hell, even when I started, it was a little different.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, though, you'll always hear that raw 423 boy sound, in everything we do. So
yeah,
the knowledge that came along with,
and it ain't perfect. It ain't perfect, but it's us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, the way times go. And not to mention, so we kind of went over it, but you went to Marietta, you recorded. What was the result of that?
Well, we thought it was the
1,500 views.
Yeah. Maybe. We thought it was the coolest shit ever. Everybody laughed at it.
Yeah.
Everybody laughed at it. Like we were in the studio, we wrote the shit the same day.
Yeah.
We were just so excited. I don't even think we could sleep. We were like, yes, we're going to the fucking studio. I think we went on no sleep.
Yeah.
Now, was this a real studio?
Real studio.
Okay.
Here we are, 14 years old.
Didn't even know how to record a song. They're sitting there, they're telling us dub it up. We're like, what the fuck does that mean?
What's an ad? You know what I'm saying?
They're like stacks. I'm like, what the fuck?
I remember thinking how many takes are we gonna do, man? Here we go again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, here it is.
Day by day.
That ain't the first one. I don't care if I'm the original one. I tried.
Day by day, got all this money on my mind. Day Day by day, I'm up in these streets. Day by day, I'm in the booth eating these beats.
But okay, so
Okay, that ain't the OG version, but
I can't find the OG version. I
Yeah.
tried.
We'll have to find it. It's out there somewhere.
Anyway, the point is, you went to Marietta, you recorded Day by Day. Now you had this finished product of an actual song. What happened after that? Did you put it out right away?
as soon as we got back.
Right away.
As soon as we got home, we put it out.
How proud were y'all?
Ecstatic.
I mean, like Rodney said, we thought it was finna blow up overnight. You know,
It didn't get what came out of it is not what we expected.
yeah.
That when we put that song out, I feel like that's when the hate fucking intensified.
Now the question is, did the hate come from you guys wanting to actually do something, or do you think it just really was that bad
I mean,
that people just could not understand it?
Listen, the song is horrible. The song sucks. But you got to keep in mind how young we were. The people that were listening to it. The people that were listening to it were in our grade.
I mean, they still had to be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've never heard nothing like this. Like,
Yeah.
and we know them personally. So
That's what I'm saying.
I was like, all right, they're finna be like, okay, I see you. But
Yeah.
they
If
was
it
like,
wasn't that bad to us, it couldn't have been that bad to them.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But now that I go back and listen to it, I'm like, it could have been that bad, but I still don't think the crowd that because
the
we were
hate, I don't think the hate would have came from, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was trash and there was love behind it, it would have been, hey, look, I see you, but this is garbage. You know what I'm saying? Do something else. But
it wasn't that. It was just people straight like talking
clown
shit
and joking, talking shit. Like, hey, there's those wannabe rappers. Like,
And one thing that I feel like we could have done different and could have done better is we were always super standoffish. Like if somebody
we
was
were
like
responsive to all that.
if somebody was like, that shit sucks, we would be like, fuck you and your family. Like we just took it to the next level.
Yeah.
But now that I look back, we should have just took the hate and been like, okay, cool.
Well, you also got to understand that, like, and a lot of people who are watching this right now that known you guys ever since from back then, they might be looking back at like, damn, maybe I did say some things I probably shouldn't have, and maybe I was too judgmental. But also, you got to understand where we come from. I feel like we talk about this all the time on the podcast, but if some kid out there from Dalton, Tennessee with the pickup guitar and starts singing about country music, people would support him 100% at a young age.
Yeah.
But the fact that you guys wanted to make rap music and be quote unquote thugs, because that's what everybody, especially at that point in time, thought rap music was.
Yeah, I remember there was one instance me and Daniel were actually going to play football, and we were in the field house, and I don't remember his first name, but Coach Barger, fuck you, dude, you're a bitch. But he was like, oh, y'all want to be rappers, I heard. Well, I'm going to take you to the hood and drop you off and leave you there and see how y'all like it. We were like, motherfucker, we just left the hood recording a song in a studio. Suck my dick.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't understand why the hood and his thug is associated with music. I don't even want to say rap. I want to call it an art. And I mean, you know, we rap about and sing about, you know, reflections of what's going on.
Yeah,
Some of it is violent. And
there's nothing
you know
in our
reality.
music. There's nothing in our music that our hometown hasn't seen.
And there's nothing that says I'm a gang member. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get that straight. You know, for the longest time, like, we are not gang members. You know what I'm saying? Like, we might reflect a culture, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't out there like that.
But you got to think, I don't understand how you can label us as that when where we're from, all we ever hear about is meth.
Yeah.
And all we ever hear about is DUIs and violence and fucking domestic assault
and rape and,
yeah.
and chomos and shit. You know
so
what I'm saying?
why the fuck can't we make that kind of music? Because that's all we ever grew up around.
Yeah. You know, like,
it really comes down to at the end of like, it's ignorance.
It comes down to people are fucking racist where we're from.
Our gun, you know, our gun violence might not be a drive-by gang initiation thing. It might, but there's gun violence. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers getting killed all the time.
Yeah.
You know, senseless shit.
But also, like, you guys were young at this point, and everyone thought that you guys were just trying to be something you're not. But in reality, you weren't doing anything outside the norm. You were just wanting to do something.
Maybe the age thing.
The age thing had a lot to do with it. Don't get me wrong.
Even then, it's like, you don't think we've seen things?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I mean, okay, from my experience, I remember when I first really heard about you guys. Now, I'm not going to say his name on live. I'm pretty sure I've told y'all about this story before, but when I was introduced to you guys, it was from another artist from the area. And he said, hey, do not work with these guys because this was a few years after the whole Day by Day and everything. I think you guys were already in high school at this point. And this
was probably the, what days were these? What was we dropping around that time?
I think at this point in time, you guys were in high school. I think Gorgy was his original rap name at this point. I don't think.
When we first met, I'd say it was 2012 when we first met.
Yeah, so
we were freshmen.
Yeah, I was sophomore, I'm pretty sure.
We were sophomore.
But when I was getting introduced to rapping from other people and really getting started, because I've wrote rap music for years, I started working with this other guy in town that rapped, which, I'm not going to say his name, but if you're from Dunlap, you know exactly what I'm talking about because there's not that many people at this time. He said, don't work with these guys because of what y'all represent. I listened to the music, didn't hear anything super crazy. And I've talked to both of you and I've hung out with you at that point, like pretty much right after. But it was a lot of hate, a lot of jealousy in some way, shape, or form. But you guys did not get the same look as this one person did.
I mean, all I have to say about that is I feel like they were mad that we were saying what they wanted to say, but we're too afraid to say.
No, for real.
Or, I mean, maybe we said it, like I said, in a in-your-face attitude, explicit lyrics and shit, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like Georgie said, like, it's a reflection of what was going on, regardless of our age, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, like, we've been jumped off the porch type shit. So, like I said, it's really what they wanted to say, and was mad that they didn't say it the way we did.
Take this into consideration. Me and Daniel were walking through Dunlap in middle school, like just walking around town, just doing our own thing, fucking picking up cigarette butts and fucking smoking them and shit. Like some shit we shouldn't have been doing, but goddamn, we were like jumped off the porch, young as hell.
Yeah, just kids
doing wild shit.
But basically, what my story was getting to, like, I started hanging out with you guys. Ronnie was one of the people who actually taught me how to, mix my own music. Just sitting there watching him, like we never like literally sat down and he taught me, but I watched him enough and I picked up enough things as it goes. And there were other people in the area who did the same thing. I'm not gonna lie, but at this time, people really could not just get past the fact that we were wannabe rappers, especially you two. Yeah. And it was just the way that shit was at the time. Now, at this time, it was 2012 to 11.
Hold on. I want you to keep that thought in mind. But I'm glad you said wannabe rapper because I cannot stand the term wannabe rapper, especially when it comes to us. Yeah, there's wannabe rappers,
but not us.
But what else do we have to do to be rappers? What does a rapper do? A rapper does shows. A rapper makes music. A rapper, what is it? Music videos.
You know what I'm saying?
What the part? What haven't we done? We've done shows,
shows, studio times. I mean, videos, everything you can think of.
Collabs with people. We've reached out. We've made networks. We've networked. Goddamn, in middle school and high school, we were networking with people in fucking Atlanta.
Bro, I remember when Ronnie told me that he called DJ Scream and got a hold of him. Was that you who told me that?
Remember that? I don't know.
Maybe it was someone I was thinking of.
Maybe I messaged him and he messaged back, but I don't remember having a good relationship with him.
No, I mean, it wasn't a relationship. Like, you got a hold of him about a mixtape deal or whatever, or like hosting a mixtape maybe. But we didn't really get one thing out of the way. When I want to interview you guys, it doesn't need to be necessarily all hate and like talking about how all these people hated us. This is kind of like a reflection too, and kind of like a celebration.
Oh yeah. We're just going through a timeline.
Yeah, we're going through a timeline.
You know what I'm saying? 2000 till present. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
it was just, unfortunately, we were hated on it.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of happens to everybody, but I feel like you guys got it worse than others. And we've kind of been saying the same thing over and over again and coming back to you guys got it worse than others. And that's all it boils down to.
Yeah.
But you guys have been knowing each other for a long time. You made rap music for a long time. Even when the time I knew you guys have been together for 5+ years, rapping at least. Now, what do you think? Is it stressful to have such a strong like friendship and making music together?
Nowadays, not so much. Like, it's pretty chill. In the beginning, yes.
Mhm.
Especially when we were still trying to find our sound, you know, because like for any artist, you know, that's a stressful time period anyways, like putting something out and thinking it's going to be good and then realizing it's garbage. And then, you know, we sound so different by ourselves, but when we come together, like I said, nobody else sounds like us.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, yeah, you know what I'm saying, trying to find that sound and just being under that stress, we would argue a lot.
Well, it was more like, well, hold on. But the question that I was kind of getting at was like, did you guys ever have any problems with each other while doing this?
Yes.
Yes.
Like there was like, y'all don't understand how long we would hang out and just work together on shit. And like we would go spend,
we just get tired of each other.
Yeah.
You know
a week at a time. Like there would be times where I'd be like, dude, I just got to get away from this motherfucker for like, like, goddamn, like we're going to fight. Like we have gotten fights.
Yeah.
Like physical fights.
Yeah. No. Okay. So I'm kind of just, I wrote everything down that I wanted to ask. So I'd make sure I got everything from, you know, A to Z. And one of the main questions I did want to ask was there was like any, you know, harsh, like resentment towards each other in some way, shape, or form.
Resentment. It was just more of, goddamn, I got to get away from him for a minute.
It wasn't nothing we couldn't squash.
What was the biggest argument you guys had, if you can think of?
Probably some dumb shit.
Yeah, really off the top of my head, I can't.
It's really just dumb shit that boiled from being around each other too long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's still times where he'll say something, I'll be like, God damn. Like,
well, it's probably a little different now because this might be skipping some stories, but you know, HDR was gone for a good little bit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of something I wanted to ask you, you know, before, like when, you know, you got sent away. We're not going to get into the actual story of that because there's really no point in doing that. But when you came out, like, what was your mindset to rapping?
Man, I came out hungry. I'm not gonna lie. Like the first few weeks, we was in the studio religiously, like, and I know everybody's sitting there thinking, bullshit, where's it at? Like it's coming, like just chill. But
we've got some crazy shit.
It didn't go as planned, you know, like we was like, all right, my mindset was I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna drop a song, I'm gonna drop a video, and it's all finna fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like Rodney said earlier, like motherfuckers think this shit's easy. Like it's not. And being fresh out like that, you know, I didn't have the funds and stuff. So we was just in the studio religiously, and we still are. We're really bulling down, you know, cutting tracks and stuff now. The track list, like the album is on the way. And videos too. Like, you know, we done dropped the teasers and shit, but the new shit finna be crazy. But yeah, like I said, I just came out hungry, man. I'm still hungry. Like I'm super excited about this album that's finna drop.
I mean, when he came out, the first thing we did was did a show.
I mean, oh yeah. I mean, shit, come out right before my birthday, you know, and it was
a
like
successful
a successful show at that. You know what I'm saying?
We got ripped off at the door, but
shouts out to everybody that came out, by the way, and showed love. You know, if this COVID shit wasn't going on, we'd have plenty more shows for y'all. But
listen, we did a show at if you're from Dunlap, then you know what El Rodeo is, where the Tonys used to be. I got told when we did that show that multiple people told me that they saw more people there than they'd ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I would go out on a limb and say we brought at least 250 to 300 people out coming and going.
Now,
yeah,
the people that showed up to the show, were they the people from back in the day?
Some people surprised me, some people didn't.
Yeah, some people I expected to be there weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And some people I would never expect to be there were.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that, I know, like, especially when we used to do shows back in the day, back when we were still in school, some people would kind of go to the shows to kind of just see, you know, what the deal was, how it was going to be like. Some were there to kind of make fun of you. Now, were people just kind of more just curious?
I honestly
at this
don't
show,
think that we've ever had a bad show. I don't think we've ever had a set that was bad. I mean, you know, that might just
this was our best show. This last definitely one was our best show.
Yeah, but even from the jump, like I honestly don't think we've ever had a bad show.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember the first show and the turnout was ridiculous. And like you said, some people might have just been coming to make fun or to see what's up. But like, I know we surprised them. Like,
yeah, like people. our first show, it was in Bledsoe, and we did it at the the main stage in Bledsoe.
That's the one I was kind of referencing.
Yeah.
To be
Okay.
fair.
And people definitely pulled up on us to laugh and shit. But once everything started flowing, everybody started having fun. Like we actually saw that.
Like, we blew the roof off.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. The show that you're talking about was also there, and like I remember thinking this is gonna go fucking awful because I could just see how doing right in the middle of Pikeville, Tennessee. There's gonna be so many problems. People are gonna come and hate, but people ended up loving it and having such a good time.
We had motherfuckers in Corvettes pulling up.
Yeah,
like,
you turned that bitch up.
And we put that show on by ourselves. That was us.
Yeah, actually, I think also, I remember me and you going. We all three did it together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it was like such a different time back then. Like
it was, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like you had promoters calling you left and right, like, hey, I got this lined up. You want to open, blah, blah, blah. It was like everybody that y'all have interviewed mentioned this, and I might as well too. Like we put in footwork, you know what I'm saying? Like really, like with the internet and shit, it's a lot easier, but we put in the fucking footwork before, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, it was a different time. It wasn't as easy as reaching out on Facebook, like, hey, can we rent y'all's venue and shit? It was, going down. Like we made physical flyers and everything.
Yeah, I remember taking you down to Pikeville and actually going to the place.
Saying.
Yeah,
that's the day I'm talking about. Yeah.
So and also like I know for a fact like how times are different. Like when I feel like the earliest I remember of things being closer to the way it was now was when we performed at Rhythm and Brews. Well, RIP to that place. That place closed down like right after we did that show, and that was like the earliest of this time that we're in now because of the way that shows are kind of started, like through like Facebook and like. There's no like physical promotion anymore. Yeah. But to circle back all the way around to this, when I was saying, you getting out, you ready to do the music, what like any like physical changes that you noticed right away when you got out? In music at least.
Well, I was pretty up to date with the music. But when I heard some of Georgie's new shit and some of Sev's new shit, some of your new shit, like I was intimidated. I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, all right, y'all done took off. Like this shit, like I gotta step my game up. And I remember Rodney would not let me leave the studio that night. He was like, nah, do it again. This ain't the one. And finally, you know what I'm saying? Like after going through beats and so many takes, and it was tired. I was tired. We was turning up, it was getting late. We finally dropped some heat, you know what I'm saying? And I think Headlines is what came out of that. And but like I said, like I felt real intimidated, I'm not gonna lie, and definitely had to step my game up. So that's like I said, with the album, like we're perfecting it to where there's no question, you know what I'm saying, like ain't no trash coming out basically.
But it's just so crazy because like when you went in and compared to when you got out, this landscape of music and the way hip hop is digested and how accepted it is now is so crazily different.
Yeah, definitely the local scene too. Like
there's so many now.
The local scene, even in Chattanooga, was not what it is now 5 years ago. And
before you go any further, because I feel like every time we have this question with somebody about the local scene from back in the day, they always say, "Oh, there's always been some sort of a music scene." Chattanooga had a music scene, but not like it is today. There's so many people,
and there's so much talent out here. Don't get me wrong, there's trash too, but there's so much talent out here, and like you said, it's just accepted now. Like, it will never be the M or Nashville or nothing like that. Chattanooga's on the map. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, if someone relived our story, they would be so much more accepted than we were.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like if we would have started now, being 14 now, 15 or whatever, 10 years from now, like, it would be different.
Okay, so a real question is, say if a kid from Dunlap, Tennessee was to message you right now in like 8th grade and be like, hey, I wanted to be a rapper, what advice would you give him?
I actually had that happen. I don't know if you've had that happen.
Yeah.
There was a kid, he messaged me, I don't remember his name, little redheaded kid. But he was like, yo, I seen your shit. I want to record music and make it sound good like you do. I was like, all right, cool. Hit me up. I wasn't even going to charge this kid nothing just because I was like, fuck, I've been in his shoes before. I'd like to help the kid. And he was like, I need permission from my dad, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, fuck, go ask him. If he don't take you serious, have him message me and I'll talk to him. Well, it ended up happening, and the dude was like, "No, my kid ain't doing that." I was like, "God damn!"
I mean, I get it, man. It sucks, but you know,
Listen,
hopefully the kid.
if I could help any kid that was in the same situation I was or going through the same shit that we went through, I would definitely help them.
Yeah, that's a good question too, because like I remember us reaching out to some older people that were artists, you know, and not really, even them not really fucking with us like we thought they would.
We didn't get help.
So, you know, with that being said, say somebody hits me up. My first reaction is like, oh man, here we go. But then I think back to what I went through, and I'm like he said, like, if I could help you, then come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, because practice makes perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Especially if it's somebody young. Now, if it's some fucking dude that I know is just bullshit.
If you're a bullshitter, you know what I'm saying, get out the way. But
if I could help a young kid, just because we know what it felt like, I'd definitely be.
And
there.
like having such a dream and a drive and ambition and being limited because of being young. You know what I'm saying? Like we wasn't even old enough to drive. You know, so how the hell are we going to get to the studio type shit?
Yeah.
And you know, I remember not being able to get into clubs to perform. You know, we're 16, 17, got a little buzz, and people are like, come perform. And I'm like, we can't even get in the club. You know, the show you referenced earlier, we had to get our hands X. We were 18, couldn't even drink.
Bro, that was great. That was a crazy time looking back at it.
Yeah.
Just looking back at all this shit and just kind of reminiscing, because this is kind of what this interview basically is to this point.
Yeah. So let's, you know, go down the timeline. So we've skipped around a bit, but let's start at, we'll say like around that show time. So for those of y'all who don't know, from the end of 2015 to the beginning of this year, I was incarcerated. So what did you do during that time? And I know what you did, but let's let the people.
That's actually where I was getting at right then. Yeah.
Man, I had 2 kids in that time span. Music wise, I really didn't put out a lot of shit, but I feel like that helped in a sense, because I feel like I've really found myself with music through all that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like my sound, the way I rap, the things I rap about, I really just lived. Like I feel like I'm only 23, but I feel like I've lived a lifetime.
Yeah, I get it, man. I understand completely. I was with you for a majority of the time, and like I remember just hearing all this music, being like, "Damn, this is so crazy." And it got to the point to where, like, if I did music with you, it got to the point where I was just kind of taking your music and putting it out on my projects.
Yeah,
because I knew you weren't going to put it out. You were always cool with it. We always had conversations, but like you kind of have to do that living, because like I think I've had conversations with you before where like when we were in high school making music, we didn't do anything but record music.
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah, and I mean I still did that. I still do that. I'm not even kidding. And I just released 2 projects and they're being processed on DistroKid right now through Spotify and iTunes and shit.
Mm.
Just full of old music from that time, and that should be out within the next week.
Yeah,
it's at least 30 songs that people have never heard before. But I mean, I'm not kidding. I have 1,000 songs just saved up that nobody's ever heard. But I've really found myself, and I go back and listen to those all the time, and I'm like, God damn, I've came a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like that's what I did during that time.
Yeah, and there was also a little time period where we were going out doing shows and shit. We would drive to Atlanta.
Yeah,
I know you went to like California at one point. You went to Texas.
We went to California. We went to Texas.
Man, you were living it up.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like you need those experiences, especially when you make music, because I know there's a time period when we just rapped about being from Dunlap.
Yeah.
Now, when you were also incarcerated, did you like ever write any stuff down?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Did you ever use any of it?
Yeah, like some of the stuff that's on the album is stuff that I had wrote. And keep in mind, like I said, I was 18 going on 19 when I got locked up.
Mm-hmm.
I get out 22 going on 23. So even that music that wasn't being recorded, like, was still progressing. You know, it was getting better. And like I said, I was up to date with the music. So something I wrote from my first year of incarceration versus my last year would be 2 totally different things. And then to get out, like I said, and hear how hard, y'all been going, I was like, I got to get on that level. And that's, like I said, like I've almost found my sound. The the album, just wait till the album. I know I keep referencing it, but like I promise there's no bullshit on it. Like it's gonna be our best project yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people will really hear the progression and
Yeah,
how we
But
done came
to
a long
touch
way.
on another thing, like when he was locked up, we started rapping together. So it's like everybody has ambition and everybody has a drive, but like, so in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, when he gets out, everything's gonna be set. We're just gonna take off, blow up. Things don't go as planned. But I mean, and then you get discouraged, but then you look at people like you look at Travis Scott. That's a big inspiration for me. You look at somebody, Jelly Roll, somebody like that. Most of these people didn't make it until they were in their late 20s. Shit like that. So it's like there's always time, but you have to put the grind in. Like, you really have to grind it out. It ain't just gonna happen like that.
Yeah, man, that's true. That's real shit. Now, when you talk about all these, the stuff coming, what projects are coming up right now? I know you talked about your 2 projects you're releasing, and you keep referencing a project.
Yeah, the collab album.
The 423 Boyz album, is that what it is?
That's what you could call it.
So let's get into it. You've already told me, behind the scenes of this announcement.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to tell the people now, or do you want to wait?
Let's go ahead.
All right, let's get into it.
So
I don't know what's going on.
We've both
outside.
changed our names a couple times. Sorry, we got some shit going on in the background. Georgie over here has went from DJ Tornado to Alder to Georgie. So, like I said, I'm all about progression and not staying complacent.
Before you move on, let's think about that. If you think about DJ Tornado, I go from DJ Tornado to Alder. Instant fucking got better over time. I listen back. I went from Alder to Georgie. Boom. I feel like the shit I do now is way crazy. So it's just like going with the times, fucking evolving, right?
Right.
Fucking Genesis.
It only makes sense.
Yeah, like everything happens for a reason. So I look back at the 423 Boyz name and I'm like, God damn, that was some shit we created 8th, 9th
10 plus
grade.
years ago. Like I said, I've dropped the young off my name because I don't feel young no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I've earned to be respected as just HDR. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Not no Lil or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I done made a name for myself. You say HDR, you know who it is. You say Georgia, you know who it is. So with the whole name change thing, like that, like we was talking about, we are going to be changing our name from 423 Boyz.
We're no longer the 423 Boyz. Now we're going as the Lap.
The Lap?
The Lap.
Now,
That's
describe it.
LAP. Loyalty always prospers.
Okay. That's pretty dope. And it's kind of like a callback to Dunlap in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just to us in general.
Mm-hmm.
because
I've never been disloyal to him.
never once. And like you said, kind of back to Dunlap because we're loyal to our roots. You know what I'm saying? Like even though y'all didn't love us,
even though we
still
don't
love y'all. You know
yeah,
what I'm
even
saying?
though it was never a pretty picture and it was never a fucking house with a white gate and roses and happily ever after, we still love where we're from.
Yeah, of course. It's kind of, you grow up with it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's home to you.
Yeah.
In a way. All right. So we've touched on a lot of things. We've touched from the beginning of the 423 Boyz, beginning of you guys as artists, what, the time and how things have changed since you were locked up and not free, what you were doing in that personal time. And we talked about what you're working on at this moment. Is there anything that you think I've missed out on or anything I probably need to get back to?
Yeah, let's talk about the influences and stuff.
Okay.
Because, I'd like to just mention a couple people. Of course, we always mention the Valley Boys, DJ Muddy Water, Instigator Solo, those were some of the first local artists I remember hearing, and Rodney over here trying his damnedest to find some of their stuff because they had a buzz, we got their album, their mixtape, heard it, bumped it, you know what I'm saying? It was like, okay. That led to all the other local artists that we heard and worked with and stuff like that. So to be exposed to the music scene like that, I think played a big part in it that we seen, okay, they're doing it, we can do it too.
I remember when we first heard the Valley Boys. We just couldn't believe how good that shit sounded and that they were doing that shit where we were from.
No, for real. I get it.
That was unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And it just blew my mind. I remember the first ever local song we heard was Piney Woods' Be All Right on Power 94 in Chattanooga.
Yeah, they had Wayne on that.
And we were like, these people are from near where we're from and they're working with Lil Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Especially at that era of Lil Wayne.
And that was Lil Wayne. Like that was prime
Wayne.
Lil
Yeah,
Wayne.
that was Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Any other crazy influences out there that you think you had, at least when you first started out to maturing more as artists?
Man, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent.
Yeah, like the early stuff that I was exposed to.
Ludacris.
All these artists he's naming, Jeezy had just came out. 50 Cent was on top. Wayne, Ludacris, Eminem was on top, at the time. When we first started bumping it. But influential wise, I've kind of went back recently and tried to get to like the roots, like we'll never make country rap, but I do want that dirty South sound.
Yeah,
in
shout
our
out
music,
to 3 6 Mafia,
like that 3 6 sound.
And that's the thing. I feel like even back then I didn't appreciate Tennessee. Like now I go back and listen and I'm like, man, Tennessee started what we have now.
Yeah.
And
it's funny when we say 3 6 Mafia because like when I think of dirty South, I think of like UGK, 8Ball, MJG.
Yeah, of course them too.
Yeah,
but
them too.
But we got to stay loyal to where we're from.
That I try to incorporate that chopped and screwed sound into our new album. And lately I just been bumping a lot of like Young Boy and 42 Doug and stuff like that. So like my influences are really all over the place right now.
Mm-hmm. My bad. I was getting a call from Little White actually.
Yeah, we need to go on and wrap this up.
Well, if you have anything we need to touch on, like, is there any music you're listening to right now?
Like I said, like I've been bumping a lot of Young Boy, Rod Wave. Man, he's going off. Like I fuck with that Rod Wave tough. 42 Doug, Lil Baby's growing on me. Like I ain't gonna.
Lil Baby's super hard, man.
Not like Lil Baby at first, but he's growing on me.
Yeah, man.
30 Deep Grimy. NWMC Murder, and like I said, I just been really listening to a lot of local shit and Tennessee shit, trying to get, not necessarily swagger jack or bite somebody's style, but get back to the roots. Cause
that's what I've been doing a lot lately is listening to old shit. I barely listen to new shit anymore. If I'm listening to something new, it's Travis Scott, it's Nav. I don't know. I don't feel like I listen to a lot of this shit. I listen to a lot of underground shit too.
Yeah,
like I'm big on a group called Guap Mizzle. That's who we performed with in Texas and California. They ain't a group. Guap Mizzle. It's Guap Gang, but Guap Mizzle's super hard. Phoebes is super hard. If y'all get a chance to look these people up, look them up. Emotional Zan. Just crazy fan bases they have. Loyal fan bases. I listen to a lot of Tupac. I've always been a big Tupac fan. 3 6 Mafia. I've been going back and listening to them a lot. Project Pat. Fucking insane shit he was doing back in like early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah, quick plug. We also are having Project Pat come on the show pretty soon.
Yeah.
Don't have an exact date yet, but we're talking.
Yeah.
That'll be dope.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Crazy
it's
time,
been
man.
a crazy fucking run.
Yeah, man.
And I feel like we're just coming up on new chapters. Like,
yeah, like it's nowhere near over.
Oh, yeah.
Like 423 Boys, the name.
Listen, mark my words. Mark my words. We're gonna be big one day. We might not ever be the biggest fucking thing there ever was, but goddamn it, we're gonna be big one day. It's gotta happen. It's bound to happen.
Yeah. To put that work in, man. Yeah, man. So anything else we really need to touch on?
Touch on the hate one more time.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get it.
Touch on the hate one more time. I look back and look at all the shit people said about us, how they said we would turn out. Of course, Daniel did his little bit of time. But then I look back at the people that hated on us. And I start seeing all this shit. I mean, it's Dunlap. It's a fucking grapevine town. You hear it through the grapevine. So many people that hated on us and talked all that shit turned out so bad. I feel like y'all should, anything y'all said about us, y'all need to take that back and reevaluate it.
Oh, it's an apology. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because if you look at the shit that the people, the good kids, the fucking, the angels of the town that people thought they were, we turned out way better than that.
Yo,
Yeah, man. It's also one of the things like some people back then were kind of just they made fun of you. I feel like it really kind of came back to like they were just jealous because they couldn't do what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
definitely.
And also they wanted to be quote unquote cool.
Daniel posted a status the other day and he said, what was it you said? If you wanted to make music, chances are
Nobody wanted to be a rapper before we did.
Well, you said that yeah, basically word for word is what you said. Like I don't remember exactly word for word, but it was basically that.
I stand by that.
That's facts.
I stand by that 100%.
Whether we
Because-
influenced y'all or gave y'all enough balls to do it,
No,
or whatever,
this is the
whatever
thing.
the reason is.
Austin mentioned somebody earlier he didn't name, and I'm not going to name him either just because he could be on the new ventures. I don't know what's going on.
And also, it's no hate on my side.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
There ain't no hate in general, but this is just facts. The only reason that person started making music is because he thought he could do it better than us.
Mhm.
And that's facts. I'm sure the reason you started doing music is probably because he was doing music or we were doing music.
I started making music. Well, for one, I feel like everyone wants to make music in some way, shape, or form. And rap music was what I personally liked. And then when I heard of you guys and Sean, well, goddamn, that's his name.
It is what we're not hating on him.
Yeah, I'm not hating on him. But anyway, so in reality, it came back to the point of where I saw you guys do it. I saw it's possible.
Yeah. And that's what it boils down to. But for a 100% fact, he can disagree if he wants to, but it's the truth.
Mhm.
He wanted to do music because he hated what we were doing and thought he could do it better.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I stand by what Daniel posted on Facebook the other day 100%.
All right, man. So, man, it's been a crazy ride.
Also, the same people that laughed at us, at least 10 of them motherfuckers are in my inbox talking about they want to make music.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, like the hate turned into love, and I ain't even mad at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. That's
Bro, that
like,
shows you're doing something.
Listen, embrace it.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to do something, they can do it.
and if you get hate,
It
like I
comes with
said,
it. That comes with the job.
They mad that they can't do what you're doing.
All right. So we got Gorgy, we got HDR. You guys are now referenced as the Lap. Is that what it's called?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, we got any dates?
Man.
I don't.
Let's just make one up.
I don't want to put a date on a perfection. You know what I'm saying?
No, let's just
But
make one.
Okay, so you got October, November, December.
Let's go November 1st. The album will be out.
Okay.
That's
y'all
it.
heard it here.
November
Live.
1st.
CONVO-19, November 1st. Y'all heard
And
it.
we'll have at least one visual before November 1st.
That's what's up. Now remember, we got that going on. CONVO-19 still going strong. We still got plenty of guests wanting to come through. We basically have made HDR part of the CONVO-19 family.
Listen, we're going live.
Yeah, we're gonna go live.
We're
right
going to
now.
go live with Lil White soon. When is it? Do you know? Has he said anything?
I'm going to call him right after we get off the
Okay,
live. I'm
cool.
gonna-
Let's
go
call
from
him
there.
on live.
Yeah, if you're
Why
down.
not? Do you want to do that one too?
Yeah, that's straight.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Cool.
What are some of these comments? Let's reply to some of these. Can you read those, Daniel?
Yo, yo.
Yo, Lil Watt, before you go any further, you technically are live on the CONVO-19 podcast. I just wanted to put that out there. How's it going, man?
Before I say some ratchet shit.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there. All right.
All right, got you.
So yeah, you still good to go live on the podcast?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Soon.
We are actually about to end it now, and we'll send you the link to hop on the actual video feed. Are you cool with us sharing it live?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool, man. We'll talk to you in a minute.
All right.
That was Lil White. You heard it. We about to go on right after this stream ends. Pop back in on the CONVO-19 Facebook page, and we're gonna fucking go live with Lil White, the legendary Lil White.
All right, man. Anything that you want to say there before you get out that any of you need to say?
Man, shouts out to Dunlap, man. Like,
Yeah,
you know, it's all love. We touched on a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's all love.
yeah. There's
We
still
putting
a
on for
whole story we could talk about, and eventually we will do this again. But I feel like we've touched on some shit. We had a good little show.
Yeah, man, that's great. Even had Lil Watt come on.
Yeah,
All right, man. We good?
yeah. Let's get out of here.
Let's get it. You know, Keith Austin, George 740, HDR. Let's get it.
Radio check. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
You're now tuned in
Let's go.
to Convo 19
Turn it up.
with Keith Austin and Georgie Sippin' 40.